Save thousands and even millions on estate duty for your family. Estate duty can considerably reduce the value of your estate, which is meant to provide for your family. Hence, it is essential to save on estate duty as it serves the interests of your family. It is common knowledge that a person's estate consists of all their assets minus their liabilities. This is also referred to as a person's net assets. So when you actually take the time to make sure that you reduce the estate duty that you have when you are no longer available, to make sure that you keep as much of your assets as possible, it actually helps you and it helps your family make sure that they actually are protected. So you taking the steps that are necessary to protect and to keep as much as you can is something that your family will be grateful for one day. So, who am I? I'm Lumka, a passionate and dedicated trust consultant and asset protection specialist with a mission to help businesses and investors protect their wealth, secure their legacy, and navigate the complexities of estate planning. With expertise in trust creation, management, and compliance, I work closely with my clients to provide a clear, practical, and personalized solution tailored to their unique needs. So if you are someone who has not actually sat down and taken the time to plan your estate and do proper estate planning, then make sure that you get in touch with me. I'd love to help you. And the other reason why I'm so passionate about this is because when I was younger, my parents actually owned businesses. You know, my parents, my mom and dad together, they were partners. They had a shop, they had a security company, they had a farm, like a farming company, and their businesses were pretty successful. They were doing pretty well until something happened in their farming business. They got sued and they lost almost everything. And the one thing that they did not have was a trust to separate value from, like, to make sure that they are separating value from all the liability that they could go through. So that was the biggest thing that happened to my family, because they lost almost everything because they did not celebrate, like, separate value from liability. So when things happened, everything was lost, almost everything was lost. And that's the other reason why I'm so passionate about this, making sure that you protect the stuff you work for, like all your assets are protected, because you want to be able to leave a legacy. And besides leaving a legacy, while you're still alive, you want to make sure, should something happen, should you get sued, should creditors come after you, your stuff is protected. Your assets, your wealth, the stuff that you've worked so hard for your family or for your loved ones, is protected. So that's why I'm passionate about this. I know how it's like to be a child who has the ability and a fortune to get everything you want, to being someone who is lacking and can't even get the simplest things that you could get before. So that's why I'm passionate about this. I want to make sure that we protect the things that we've worked so hard for, that we do not put ourselves in a situation where we have everything today and it's gone tomorrow only because we didn't protect it. Because here's the thing, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. So now I'm passionate about helping investors, helping business owners protect their wealth, make sure that they safeguard their assets, they put a fortress around it so that it could not be it will not be accessible just to anyone. So I'm super passionate about this. So, estate planning means that you arrange your assets in a specific manner through your will and your trust, so that the best possible provision is made for your dependents after your death. You pay the least possible income tax during your lifetime, and the least possible estate is payable after your death. So you want to make sure that you do all of these things. You pay the least, like the least possible tax while you're still alive, and to make sure that your dependents are protected, and to make sure that once you are gone, they pay the least tax as well. That is like so beneficial for them, because they get to keep most of the money. And while you're still alive, if you set up your estate in such a way that actually benefits your family and benefits you also while you're still alive, because the benefits also apply to you right now and your family right now, from saving in tax to actually protecting your stuff from creditors. People who just were gonna wanna sue you and get stuff from you. So you're protecting all that stuff. So when they come for you, they see that you've got nothing because you will own nothing. Everything will be protected. and you just control everything but own nothing. I am super passionate about that because anything could happen. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. You don't know what the next second will bring. So the sooner you start setting up your things and projecting your things and putting a fortress around your things, the better. Unnecessary fear of estate planning. Some people have an incorrect view of what it means to do their estate planning. They believe that they will be alienating their assets and, as a result, depriving themselves of the use and enjoyment of their assets. With proper estate planning, a person could legally save large amounts on estate duty for his or her spouse and their children. However, during your lifetime, you could still continue to enjoy the use of your assets, such as using a usufruct. Hence, it's a misconception to think that estate planning will take away all your benefits. You know, so it's important to know that just because you're planning everything, that's just because you're making sure your estate is planned correctly, doesn't mean that you won't get to enjoy it now. Doesn't mean that you will not get the benefits while you're still alive. It's not just about when you are gone. Where other people enjoy it and you won't. It's actually more about you making sure that you yourself are gaining, you yourself are benefiting, you yourself are getting something while you're still alive. And that is such an important thing, because here's the thing: we take so much pride in making sure that our houses are protected. We've got cameras, we've got securities, we've got high gates, we've got like electrical fence, we've got all the things. But the wealth that you're building, you're not protecting that. Like, it's left outside, it's valuable, it is vulnerable, anything could happen to it. Think about that. Something could happen and you could lose everything. I know this from experience because that's what happened to my parents. So for you to not take care and protect what you've worked hard for is putting yourself in danger and putting your family in danger. And I wouldn't want that for you. Ways to save on estate duty. So these methods include making use of a usufruct, life insurance, your family, trusts, your own business, charities, and offshore planning. So these are all the different ways that you could actually save on estate duty. So let's start with the usufruct. A usufruct is one of the cheapest and easiest ways to save hundreds of thousands, even millions of rands on estate duty. By means of an agreement, an estate owner can create his spouse usufruct. During her lifetime over certain assets, these assets could include a home, unit trusts, or a business. The benefits of a usufruct in terms of making provision for one's dependents lies in the fact that a spouse can use a home or a growth on unit trust during his or her lifetime, for instance, but he or she can sell the assets. That's so important, because, for example, let's say you are someone who was married, got divorced, or you never married but you've got kids, but then you find a partner and then you stay with that partner and you've got a house. You've got kids and your other partner has kids. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna leave this house. You wanna leave this house to your kids. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna give your partner a usufruct so they can use this house while they're still alive. But when they pass away, it goes to your kids. So a usufruct will protect you so that you don't lose the stuff. To, like, if you didn't have it, for example, your partner's kids could benefit from it and your own kids wouldn't get anything. But because you've got this usufruct, that could actually protect you, because you give your partner the right and the benefit of using the house while they are still alive. But as soon as they're gone, the usufruct will say it will go back to the kids, because it belongs to the kids. That's the beauty of it. After the spouse dies, the couple's children could obtain full ownership of the assets, or they can also only obtain usufruct. Later on, the grandchildren could obtain bed dominion of the assets. That's the beauty of it. You decide who gets what. It could be the kids, it could be the grandkids, it could be great great grandkids, where you keep giving them the exclusive right to use it, but the bare dominion belongs to a trust or something. So that's the beauty of it. You could control it. So that's the beauty of it. In terms of estate duty, the benefit lies in the fact that when the person who has donated the usufruct to his or her spouse dies, only the betterment of the assets in his or her estate will remain to be taxed. That's the other beauty, you know? The usufruct won't be taxed, but it could be worth much more than the bare dominion. The bare dominion is the market value of an asset minus the usufruct. So that's important because then look how much you're saving on tax. You are literally saving while you're still alive, while you're giving someone else access to it. So it's a really, really beneficial. Another way is life insurance. In most estates, the largest portion of the estate assets consists of life insurance. These days, there are quite a number of people who insure their lives for more than 3.5 million. In this case, estate duty can instantly be payable along with the other assets in an estate. An estate method An easy method to prevent estate duty on life insurance is to cede an existing policy to a family trust or to take out a new policy on your life through a family trust. If the trust pays the premium on the policy, the return on the policy will not be taxed in your estate after your death. That is so beautiful, because if you were to have that life policy or and have it outside without it being in a tax, being in a trust, what would happen is that when you pass away, it will be taxed, and it will be taxed heavily. But if you actually take your policy and seed it into a trust or open one in a trust, then it won't be taxed. So when you're gone, your family actually gets to get that money because then it will not be taxed because it will be in a trust and a trust does not die. So that's the other beauty of it. So your family. Estate duty can be saved in various ways by making a donation to your family in the right manner. Any donation that you make to your spouse is exempt from donations tax, and the asset which is donated is also removed from your estate so that it can be taxed as part of your estate. You can plan donations to your spouse in such a way that no more than 3.5 million is placed in your spouse's estate during their lifetime. When your spouse dies, no estate duty will be payable in her estate because the first 3.5 million is exempt from estate duty. That's beautiful. You would have also managed to save estate duty on 3.5 by means of a donation to your spouse. Donations to your spouse are free from capital gains tax. You and your spouse can each donate 100,000 rand per annum without having to pay donations tax. Over 10 years, each of you can save estate duty on a million rand. That's 100,000 times 10. And both your estates together would be reduced by 2 million over that period. That's beautiful. Because if you save 100,000 in 10 years and your partner save if you save a million in 10 years and your partner save a million, that's 2 million that you guys get without having to pay tax on. So that's a huge saving. So trust, which is the best and my favorite way personally. All these are great and you can use all of these on top of the trust. So yes, all these are actually awesome. One of the very best ways to save huge amounts on estate duty is to transfer some of your assets to a trust so that all future growth in the value of the assets will occur in your trust. When you die, no estate duty is payable on the assets that belong to a trust. I love that. It is only the credit loan which was used when you sold the assets to a trust which could be taxable. Assume, for example, that you sold a personal assets which were worth a million to a trust on a credit loan account. If the assets are worth 7 million when you die, only the credit loan account to the amount of 1 million will be taxable in your estate. The growth of 6 million and the assets will not be subject to estate duty. However, you could live off the credit loan account in your trust during your lifetime so that even the credit loan account can be reduced considerably before your death. You know? So that's the other beauty that you could actually pay off the credit loan while you're still alive. So by the time you die, it's also paid up and you won't be liable for any tax. So, your own business. You can save a considerable amount of income tax and estate duty through your own business. For example, you could create a credit loan account in your own company by selling your sole trader to your company at a profit. If you are older than 55, then no capital gains tax will be payable on the first 1.8 million rand. The benefit is that, firstly, you could, as you indicate above, under trust, enjoy tax free growth of 20% per annum and more through your credit loan account during your lifetime. Secondly, your credit loan account could, of course, expire after your death so that it doesn't have to be subject to estate duty as your asset in your estate, as an asset in your estate. A restraint of trade on you could, for instance, be worded in such a way that it expires upon your death. Restraints on trade must be carefully worded so that they are enforceable. In this way, your estate will automatically be reduced, so you should use a restraint of trade if it's at all possible. That's why you want to make sure that you get someone who knows what they're doing to set up your trust for you. Because if you don't have the correct wording, if the wording in your trust is not correct, it will not stand. You know, it will not stand with the masters. So if you want to make sure that you actually have a verified and a legal trust, you've got to have the wordings properly set up. So make sure that you work with someone like us so that we can actually make sure that your trust is set up properly. So charities, all bequests in your will to approved charities and educational and religious institutions are exempt from estate duty. By using a few simple techniques that don't have to be expensive, you could legally save large amounts on estate duty. There's a treasure trove of analysis about the cost effective use of trust and similar structures to save taxes coming your way. We've got more where that comes from. Trusts still offer a massive income tax advantages, huge estate duty savings, protects your assets against creditors, and you can make excellent provision for your dependents in the case of your death. Trusts are important for meaningful wealth creation. It is vital importance that you receive advice from a specialist when establishing a trust. It is also important to obtain advice on how to run a trust correctly once it is set up. And that's what we help you with. We make sure that it is set up properly and it is run properly and that it is compliant. So if you want one that will actually stand the test of time and that is actually going to be current and the one that will work for you and protect you and actually give you the benefits while you're still alive as well, make sure that you get in touch with us. So, book a call with us. A trust is a necessity under all circumstances to protect yourself and your family against financial shocks because you never know what's going to happen. So, furthermore, a trust builds great wealth. It really does. So thank you so much for watching. And if you do not have a trust yet, or you do have one and you'd love to see if it is done correctly and that it protects you and it has all the things that it needs to have, it is worded correctly. Because that's the most important thing. It has to be worded correctly. So make sure that you get in touch with us. Go to lumkastelman.com. We would love to help you with that.